Today is Monday, January 27th, and I'm just wondering about the Cowboys' choice as their new head coach, and even more so, about the process of how they got there.
And now, a word from our title sponsor.
We aim to turn your nest egg into a paycheck with half the amount you've been led to believe. Fluent Financial combines in-house portfolio design and risk management with income-generating investments designed to accelerate your financial independence. Our goal is to develop an effective portfolio strategy to help you retire sooner and have a better lifestyle. Visit fluentfinancial.com.
Brian Schottenheimer. The Cowboys will introduce Brian Schottenheimer Monday morning at a press conference. The news leaked about 9, 10 o'clock Friday evening. How did it leak? Well, we know that. It leaked from somewhere inside the organization. I remember Tex Schramm, the godfather of NFL general managers, and I do mean godfather in all sorts of ways. Whenever he had bad news or news that would be perceived as bad news, he'd always wait till late Friday afternoon or early evening to announce it or let it leak, because then it wouldn't make the Saturday morning papers, and then Sunday was a game day, and Monday was talk about the game, and by Tuesday, whatever it was old news. Well, this isn't going to be old news that quickly. But about Brian Schottenheimer, I don't know him. Loads of people say he's a very likable person and a good football mind. But that appears, that likability, to be one major factor in his getting the job here. Another was the fact that he was cheap. Jerry goes cheap on his head coaches. He'll spend nearly $250 million on a yacht, but he won't spend to pay better head coaches. And there's one other factor about Brian Schottenheimer. I sincerely doubt he will interfere with the Jones family continuing to play with their $6 billion toy. Nothing against Coach Big Shot. He's worked in the NFL for 2.5 decades. He got his start when his dad, Marty, a truly great NFL head coach, gave him an assistant job with 3 different teams that Marty was hired to be the head coach of. Schottenheimer's been the offensive coordinator for the Jets, the Rams, Seattle, and Dallas, though that Dallas offensive coordinator tag, that was an 8-letter word that begins with bull and ends with T. This was Coach Mike McCarthy's offense. Coach Mike McCarthy called the plays. Coach Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. Brian Schottenheimer was an assistant to the head coach. In 14 years, and we're going to count the Cowboy years, by the way, since that's what they called him. In 14 years as an offensive coordinator in the NFL with those 4 different teams, in those 14 years, only 4 of Schottenheimer's teams finished in the top 10 in points scored, and only 2 of his 14 teams finished in the top 10 in yards gained. He's been in this league 25 years, and his name 2 or 3 times has been floated as a possibility for a head coach, though I believe the last time it was floated was 2010 in Buffalo, where he withdrew consideration. Teams allow people who are candidates to publicly withdraw from consideration after the team has informed them you're not getting the job. To my knowledge, none of the other 5 teams in the NFL who had head coaching vacancies this year asked to talk to Brian Schottenheimer. And remember, the Bears alone conducted interviews with 17 different people about their head coaching job. One of the positives, apparently, is that Dak likes him, that Dak's friendly with him. When are we going to stop sucking up to Dak Prescott? Hey, it's nice that he likes the new head coach. But how about instead of making this team more Dak-friendly, we ask Dak to make teammates better for the $60 million a year he's earning? Like, let's say, other highly paid quarterbacks, like Jared Goff or Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes. They do that for their teams. Years and years and years have gone by with the Cowboys trying to make their team more Dak-friendly. Maybe it's time to make Dak a little more uncomfortable. I keep hearing that the Dallas Cowboys, the head coaching job is such a good job. Fox Sports rated it the number 1 available job of the 6 open this postseason. That's a load of crap. So why did none of the other top candidates for open coaching vacancies take an interview here? Or did they want to, and Jerry had already made up his mind? Or is it possible, Jerry, that they were going to ask for real money to coach your football team, and that's what excluded them as potential head coaching candidates? Coach Big Mac, just dismissed, was not in the top half in the league in salary. And be assured, Brian Schottenheimer will not be paid in the top half of the league in coaching salaries. But now, Jerry, with Schottenheimer staying, he can help pick some of the assistants. And he can add Jason Witten to the coaching staff, which isn't bad. But Witten will then be seen as a coach in waiting. Just like Jerry hired Jason Garrett as the offensive coordinator before he hired Wade Phillips as a head coach. And every moment, Phillips, if he wasn't doing it himself, everybody else was looking over Phillips' shoulder at Garrett. That's not, I think, a healthy situation for a locker room.
What do you want from your favorite restaurant? Fantastic personal service, a cheery, welcoming, spotless atmosphere, and great food. The primest of beef, wagyu and lamb, incredibly fresh seafood, lobster, salmon, shrimp. Hall of Fame food from a Hall of Fame restaurant. 2 locations of Bob's Steak and Chop House, the original Bob's on Lemon Avenue, and the gorgeous new Bob's at Craig Ranch McKinney.
You must see the 2025 Infiniti QX80. It redefines luxury with cutting-edge technology and unparalleled convenience. From the dual 14.3-inch infotainment screens with Google built-in to the advanced driver assist systems, every detail is designed to enhance your driving experience. The 2025 Infiniti models come with 3 years of Infiniti Premium Care maintenance included. Crest Infiniti also gives top dollars for trades. Just bring it in and see what you can get. Experience ultimate luxury in the 2025 QX80. There's good, there's better, and then there's Crest off Highway 121 on the tollway in Frisco. But Coach Big Shot inherits a team with real salary cap problems and real holes. Lots and lots and lots of real holes. And maybe even more if free agents like Osa Odigizua and Rico Dowdle and Jordan Lewis and others leave. Plus, DeMarcus Lawrence and Zach Martin may have played their last years in Cowboy uniforms. And then, of course, there's the quarterback he inherits, Dak Prescott, who's had major injuries 3 of the last 5 years, and who was having the worst year of his career when he went down with an injury this year. Coach Big Shot is tasked with the same job that Coach Big Mac was tasked with. Grab the broom and shovel and follow around the elephants in this organization, cleaning up with them in the Jones family circus. Meanwhile, it's 29 years now since the Cowboys have made it to an NFC Championship game. And Brian Schottenheimer will be the 8th coach to try to rectify that. Meanwhile, Jerry's been here all these years. And if Jerry were a general manager with another team, not an owner and general manager of another team. See, the owner, who's the general manager, he don't want to ever fire the general manager. But if Jerry just worked someplace else as the general manager, I'm going to think 23, 24, 25 years ago, he'd have been fired. But with the Dallas Cowboys, incompetence has no consequence. But there's the brand, and the brand is flourishing, and the money pours in for the suites and the season tickets and the $12 beers and people paying 3 digits just to park near AT&T Stadium. And then there's authentic jerseys and cowboy hoodies and caps and cowboy camo and party passes. And, oh yeah, you get to go out to the stadium and see that giant video board and those skimpily clad cowboy cheerleaders and the Salvation Army kettle in the end zone once a year. And you can watch Lainey Wilson and Jelly Roll sing. But what you haven't been able to watch in 29 years is the Cowboys play a home playoff game, having reached the Final Four in the NFL. But for all we know, Brian Schottenheimer could be the man who overcomes everything, where Gailey and Campo and Parcells and Phillips and Garrett and Coach Big Mac couldn't. But if he isn't the guy to overcome the Cowboys' recent 29-year history, I have the perfect candidate for the next Cowboy head coach. It's Rowdy, the mascot, Rowdy. He'll work dirt cheap, and he doesn't speak. No one's ever heard Rowdy speak. So there's not even any reason to go through an interview process. What would interviewing Rowdy sound like? It'd be silence. And you'd never have to worry about Rowdy contradicting the owner at one of his press conferences, because there'll be no need for Rowdy press conferences. He doesn't say anything. And because of that, even when he fails, the Jones family would never again have to worry about the controversial statements of a head coach going out the door. And finally, because nobody knows who Rowdy is, when he's fired, he can just actually go back to being Rowdy. And then the Jones family can continue playing with their $6 billion toy.
Today's episode brought to you by Fluent Financial. Retire sooner, better lifestyle.
And by Crest Cars. There's good, there's better, and then there's Crest.
And by Bob's Steak and Chop House.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of Just Wondering with Norm Hitzges. If you enjoyed what you heard, please hit follow, and a fresh new episode will be delivered to you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And if you know someone who might enjoy our work, please share it with them. I'm Norm Hitzges, and I'm always just wondering about something.
And I'm Mary Hitchkus, and I'm just wondering too.